The Ontario government has officially passed Bill 23, which allows development of the much protected Greenbelt. What does this mean for the Toronto real estate market, the GTA real estate market, and overall the Ontario real estate market? And what you should know about how this bill was passed and the potential corruption of the process. Hello everyone, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. As always, back with another video for you guys here today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Sam, a Toronto real estate agent working within the greater Toronto area with buyers, sellers, tenants, and landlords. As always on this channel, we like to go through everything related to the Toronto/GTA real estate market stats, market trends, market news, building reviews, market stats, market trends, market news, tenancy laws, buyer advice, seller advice, and so much more. So as always, you can find my contact information on the screen. Feel free to get in touch with any questions you may have with regards to this video or any other video. And furthermore, feel free to just simply insert my name into Google, go through my Google reviews before you do get in touch with me. But enough of all that, let's get to the point of today's video, which is Bill 23. Now for some general, very general background, if you're not familiar with Ontario or the greater Toronto area, essentially there exists protected lands, otherwise referred to as the Greenbelt. Why is it called the Greenbelt? Well, as you guys can see from this official Greenbelt map, it is called the Greenbelt because it resembles a belt of a kind, and it is meant to designate environmentally prioritized areas that are off the table for development. And due to the Greenbelt, a natural byproduct of the Greenbelt here is that it kind of landlocks the greater Toronto area in terms of how much development can sprawl out. And this Greenbelt was a much hot debated topic for a long time, whether it was good from the perspective of conservation and environmental sensitivities, or whether the byproduct of it landlocking the greater Toronto area, consequently landlocking development, was a major influencing factor in the high prices and peak market conditions we have been experiencing, not only early in 2022, where it seems the markets were at their highest peaks ever, but gradually over the course of time. Now in today's video, I'm not going to take a strong position either way. I will tell you quickly though, I am not in favor of removing the Greenbelt, but maybe as to why that is my personal position, we can get into that in future videos. For today's video, I want to go through the Bill 23 that formally opens up portions of the Greenbelt to real estate development. Now, one of the main goals of the Ford government, the Ontario government, is as stated, which is to build 1.5 million homes in 10 years. And on paper, the claim here is, the argument here is, portions of the Greenbelt have to be opened up for that target to be met. Now, in terms of details, the proposed amount of Greenbelt land that would be opened up for development would be about 7,400 acres. Furthermore, in exchange of this 7,400 that will be opened up, the government further proposes that they will add 9,400 acres elsewhere. Now, the details here are a little vague at this current moment of time. This news came out just 20 hours ago, so this is a very fresh video. But for reference, what the 7,400 acres amounts to, the total amount of acres the Greenbelt is made up of is estimated to be 2 million acres. Now, these estimates vary from different sources, but certainly 7,400 acres makes up a minuscule percentage of the total amount of acres protected by the Greenbelt. That 2 million acres figure is according to the Greenbelt Foundation. Now, who's going to develop this recently opened up land? And this is the key thing that I want to focus on and is a point of emphasis for me. Well, according to a very informative Globe and Mail article, it seems as if one of the primary developers of this land will be one of the Ford government's major donors. That's correct. And what makes the situation more concerning and worrisome is that these developers, who also happen to coincidentally be donors to the Ford government, purchased these lands before this bill was passed. And in order to finance the purchase, which amounted to $100 million, they had to borrow at a 21% interest rate of that $100 million in terms of financing. So essentially what we have here is a situation where developers who also happen to be donors to the Ford government were more than satisfied with borrowing $100 million to purchase these lands with without ever really knowing if this bill was to pass at an annual $21 million rate of interest, which obviously then the reasonable conclusion here is anyone who is going to pay $21 million in interest in order to buy lands that are protected at current moment in time most likely has a high degree of certainty that those protected lands they have just purchased will no longer be protected in the near future. And once again, these people just happen to be coincidentally donors of the Ford government who passed this bill. And this is one of the key points of emphasis about how this bill came to be, which seems in large part to be influenced by money in politics, and it is a major issue really even outside of the real estate industry. In terms of whether this Bill 23, the opening up of the Greenbelt within Ontario, will have any demonstrative impacts on affordability, well, I remained very skeptical about that because first and foremost, it's not going to be that many new homes when you really think about it. Troublesome aspect of it is not what's being opened up now, but what can potentially be opened up in the future. That is the argument stated on the conservation side of things. Those who are against the opening up of the Greenbelt but also want to address affordability further emphasize the alternative that exists in terms of further density. So building more mid-rises, building more fourplexes, duplexes, high-rises within the city of Toronto and the greater Toronto area, which, as I covered in one of my most recent videos, many Canadians believe that one of the key impediments to that further density are NIMBYs, otherwise known as not in my backyard homeowners who typically own semi-detached or fully detached single-family homes who are against further density in terms of constructions of mid-rises, townhomes, high-rises, or low-rises. And finally, to finish the video, of course, as a real estate agent working within the Toronto real estate market and the greater Toronto real estate market, it would be in my best interest for more inventory to open up. The more development there is, the more product there is, the more business I'll most likely have. Frankly, I believe that I'm going to, regardless of whether there's more supply in terms of opened up Greenbelt areas, I'm going to have business either way. So I much personally prefer to go against my own incentives, preserve these environmentally sensitive areas, and focus on further developments within the city of Toronto and the greater Toronto area itself. Anyways, let me know what you think about this. Are you pro the opening up of the protected lands, or are you against these measures, especially considering the shady means by which a donor of the Ford government is one of the key and primary developers of these lands? Anyways, as always, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate, Remax Realtron Realty Inc. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.